So in summary, there is no consensus on global warming. There's a lot, especially meteorologists and atmospheric scientists, that are skeptical of this. And we know, we've worked with the models. So we know what the models are made of and what they can do and their errors. And we know about the temperature errors, changing instruments, changing instrument shelters. But we do, number two, carbon dioxide has increased. We've measured it, a number of places. Global temperature rise is only 1.2 degrees Fahrenheit, but probably exaggerated. That's their claim. That's the official claim. Natural processes account for more than half global warming. More than half of that is natural processes. There's a strong bias towards the harms. The cost to fight global warming is huge with little likely benefit. Computer models exaggerate temperature effect of doubling of carbon dioxide. And nature has run it, like I said, a 60% increase in carbon dioxide equivalency units has caused only a 0.6 degrees Fahrenheit caused by man's carbon dioxide. This represents only a 1 degree Fahrenheit for a doubling of carbon dioxide, much less than the 3 to 11 degrees. There are hidden agendas, and there's no proof of stronger storms. And in conclusion, this is my feeling. We need more unbiased research in climatology, and we have time to do it. We don't need to panic and act now and change the global economies so that we can fight this global warming acting now. I mean, you hear all kinds of statements. We got to act now or it's going to be a total disaster in a few years. We don't, that's not true. So if you want to know more about the weather and climatology, global warming, the ice age, you find it in the weather books. So that's it for my presentation. I thank you for hearing me out on this issue. And I believe I ended early, which usually doesn't happen too often. So,
you want to take the question?
Oh yes, I do. Good question. How do the sunspots, change in sunspots, affect the global temperature? No one knows yet. I should have told you this. What we're working on are correlations between carbon dioxide, the temperature, and the sunspot cycle, and the sunspot cycle is more correlated with the temperature in the 20th century. Finding the mechanism has been hard. See, the change in sunspots changes the solar radiation only a small amount. So it doesn't seem like, and this is why a lot of climatologists have been skeptical of this mechanism, because they can't find the mechanism of how it works, and that is a problem. Yeah, I usually mention that, I just forgot about it. But there is the possibility that see, these sunspots affect the magnetic field, and as a result, when you have a lot of sunspots, you have less cosmic rays that hit the atmosphere. And less cosmic rays, let's see, do I have it backwards? Less cosmic rays produce less clouds, low clouds. See, it's low clouds that cause the cooling, high clouds cause the warming. They didn't know that for many, many years until 20 years ago. So with less clouds, you have more solar radiation that's absorbed on the ground for a warming effect. But this is still a hypothesis. It's got some good research behind it, but what I read in the literature, the global warming alarmists are hitting the people doing the research hard. The bias is so strong, so I really don't trust those people. And so I think this guy named Sven Mark from, I think, Denmark, that's done the research. He's got a number of papers published. You can go to the scientific journals and find this. See, it's unlike creationism, where they suppress anything that we try to publish in the secular journals, so we don't attempt. So we have our own technical journals, the Journal of Creation and the Creation Research Society Quarterly, that we've been publishing in for years. But these guys can publish. There's a lot there's a lot of skeptics on college campuses as professors, and so they're getting their data published. And so we could find the information on the internet and in the scientific literature. I think Sven Mark's got a great idea, but it still needs to be verified more of the connection between the sunspots and the temperature change. Good question. I normally do say something about that at the time, but it slipped my mind. Yes. There's a whole carbon cycle. It's very complicated. Oceans are part of it, but it's probably, and the oceans absorb a lot of the excess carbon dioxide we put in the air. You know, they do absorb a lot of it, and then it gets sent to the deep sea, but they already account for that. So the atmosphere is still increasing. It's only about maybe 25% of the carbon dioxide we produce ends up in the air. The rest of it goes out into most of it in the ocean. So that's accounted for already. And volcanoes really don't cause much of a change in carbon dioxide when they go off. It's just that's generally a small effect compared to all the carbon dioxide already in the atmosphere. Yes, there are slight changes in the orbital geometry of the Earth, and they use this as their popular ice age hypothesis, but the tilt of the Earth changes about 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees, over a period of 41,000 years. So its period is so long that it has no effect on current global warming, but they try to tie that into the ice age, and unfortunately, they tie it in with the 100,000 year eccentricity cycle. The Earth goes from a perfect circle to a slightly flattened circle with a period of about 100,000 years. And they tie that in with the ice age. But unfortunately for them, it has almost no effect on the radiation balance on the Earth. So their correlations with big ice ages cycling every 100,000 years is really totally unscientific. It's called the Milankovitch hypothesis, but it has nothing to do with global warming. Okay, back there.
What exactly is so bad about, considered so bad about carbon dioxide? I mean, don't the plants need it?
Yes, they're trying to recatalog it as a pollutant. But we gotta have it, you know, or else we all die. The plants need it, and we need to eat the plants. There's nothing wrong with it. And there's nothing wrong with a slight increase in it either. I think during the Ice Age, we had a lot higher levels of carbon dioxide. And before the flood, it might have been much higher. These are based on coal and other things that indicate a big, huge biosphere before the flood. So carbon dioxide is not bad. I don't consider it bad or a pollutant. The question is, how do we know which came first, the temperature increase causing the CO2 to increase, or vice versa? And you know, if you look at ice cores, there is data in those ice cores that says temperature increases first. But those ice cores are stretched out into hundreds of thousands of years during the Ice Age, which is a totally different time as now, so I don't use that evidence at all, I think, because of that. But the reason I think it's the CO2 first is because CO2 is a greenhouse gas. It should cause, theoretically, a temperature rise. It's just that we don't know how much, and they rely on the models too much. So it could be in some cases the other way around, but what would cause the temperature increase? See, it's... Solar cycle. That's possible. It could be true. I'll have to think about it. Even though this is my field, there's always much to learn.